Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And I'm trying to do something that's probably impossible with my computer that I'm using right now. And that is running, excuse me, let me turn it down. Hey, how you doing? This is Tom. I got to turn this down over here. I'm trying to do something probably impossible right now. Oh, come on. There we go. Got that muted. Now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to run my SDR Play 1 using SDR console. And on the internet, I'm trying to use the Kiwi SDR website to use somebody else's radio and see what I can find on shortwave. And conditions were pretty good when I started this experiment, but they've deteriorated as usual. So now let me go back to the Hangout control, and I will share my screen, and you'll get an echo a mirror effect initially, and then I'll close that down so you don't get that. Now you should be seeing, oh, I stopped my laptop so I don't see what's going on. So now you should be seeing my screen, of which is right now showing SDR console. And so I'm running Hangouts, I'm running SDR console, and I'm running the Kiwi SDR website using one of the radios. This could crash at any minute. But what I was attempting to do earlier is I was looking for, initially I was looking for some communications between fishing vessels. I got a listing of common frequencies they use, and I was trying various radios on the internet throughout the world to see if I could find any activity. Well, that didn't work. So then I just started searching the shortwave bands using the Kiwi website. Let me go to that. Hopefully that will show up. All right, now, and I'm trying to, let me get my laptop caught up. It's way behind on what's going on. No, and I always touch something that I shouldn't touch. Oh, I got a commercial. Now, how did I manage to do that? Oh my gosh. I guess I started at the beginning or something. Stand by. This little tiny laptop that I'm using is not very powerful. Oh, it's totally different. Yep, I've lost it. Oh my gosh. Let me go back. Yeah, this little laptop, the little 10-inch laptop, but it's convenient, but it's not very powerful. Okay, now I'm back to me. Oh, all right. Okay, I'm back on. Hope the audio doesn't come on. So right now, I'm at the Kiwi SDR website, and I've selected one of the radios. This particular radio is close to me. It's down in Boca Raton, Florida, which is southeast of me, probably 250 miles. And so I was going to compare what it receives and what I receive. Up here, it tells you a little bit about it. It's using a W6LVP amplified magnetic loop antenna compared to my G5RV. And this is, it's tuned to WWV. I've got the audio muted. Let me turn the audio back on. Takes a little bit of time. It's a little delay there. So you're not doing too good either. Matter of fact, you can barely hear it. Let me mute it again. Okay, now if I go back to, this could crash at any moment. Here's my radio, and I have it muted. I'll unmute it. Turn the volume up a little bit. I'm doing a little better. Now, I had picked that particular station because it was near me, number one, and number two, it was on the other coast of Florida. So I'm on the West Coast, it was on the East Coast, or near the East Coast. So just a comparison. It's using, like I said, a loop antenna. I'm using a G5RV dipole antenna. Okay, now what I had planned on doing is see what I could find on the bands. Like I say, the bands were pretty good about a half hour, an hour ago. Yeah, about 7 o'clock. They're pretty good, but boy, they've kind of deteriorated. That's the thing about shortwave bands. Conditions just change all the time. So let me look at my Hangout page to see where I'm at. And we have 4 viewers, which is nice. I didn't really plan this in advance. I know you scream at me when I do a Hangout on the air and I don't schedule it. I really need to do that. I need to set up a schedule, probably Saturday, sometime Saturday. Now, it's best for me in the morning because in the afternoon it gets really hot in my office, and it's just, even now I've got several fans on plus the air conditioning. Probably hear a lot of fans in the background, and it's still kind of warm. But let me get a drink here. And we'll go off this page as it doesn't give you any useful information. So let's go back to this one. And I've got my laptop set up so that I can monitor my video output, plus I can see the chat room. So if you got any comments, you can put it in the chat, and a question or something I can try to respond to. So here we go. Again, unscheduled. I didn't even think this would work. I thought running the SDR console, running the web page Kiwi SDR, and running Hangouts, I thought that would kill my computer. It may be that the output is choppy, especially the audio. The audio might be choppy. I don't know. I don't want to turn up the audio on my laptop that I'm monitoring with because I end up with a feedback situation, although it's delayed. It's delayed at least 15 minutes before I actually see what I broadcast on my little laptop. Now, okay, that's not very exciting. WWV is not. This right here, this big thing here, that is a local Spanish station that I hear all the time. It's probably really close, and it's always really strong, and it's right near WWV at 5 megahertz. So let's move up the band here. Now, the one thing nice about using this website Kiwi SDR and using one of the radios that an individual has put on, sometimes, or most of the time, up here is populated information that has been found or is available in the various frequencies. Like here, right here is marked WWVH. Oh, that's Hawaii, and WWV, can't see the other thing, but it's the one in the United States, in Colorado. So, and you can see there's other ones over here. Like you can hear, sometimes you can hear a fax here on this frequency. So the thing is, what I do is I use this website and I select a radio, and there's typically like 250 online at any given time to see what other stations are receiving, and then I try to receive it on my local SDR or one of my Grundigs or whatever. So let's move on. And now, what I was, as I mentioned before, what I was trying to do earlier is I was trying to receive some communications on the frequencies used by fishermen. And I've got a listing of that. I'll post it in the description below this video if this video is not just garbage because of dropouts. In that case, I'll delete it. So I'm looking down here, and here's a frequency that says shrimp fishermen in the Gulf of Mexico. And it's at 6516. So I can dial in, I think, 6516. Yes, it did. That appeared right here. I hit enter, and there she goes. And there is something right here. Let's unmute this. Now, it's a steady stream right there, but I don't hear anything but noise. Here's something that looks kind of interesting, like it might be data. Let's go over there. I'll unmute. Yeah, some kind of data. It looks like it's this one right here, which I do not know what that means. Or it could be FSK. Now here's a U.S. Coast Guard station. Don't know where. It says 10 p.m. So I guess that's when they broadcast. Well, it's not 10 p.m. At least not here. It is actually 8:13. Let's mute this. And let's just see what's up here. See, that's the beauty of this. You can look and see what other things have been found. Now, this one right here, this Flight Watch, and it looks like it says Australia, and it says 11 p.m. I thought I heard that earlier, about a half hour ago. And that's when I was starting to set things up. And he was giving weather information about the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, let's just take this and slide it over, and we're going to kind of stay in the lower shortwave bands because that's typically what's good in the morning here in Florida. Definitely nothing there. A little bit of a signal here, pretty weak. Slide over again. Now there's a strong station, but it looks like it's data because it's there all the time. We'll click on it and then we'll unmute. No, don't hear much there. I'm going to look over in the chat and see what we got over there. Oh my gosh, I haven't used this little 10-inch laptop in quite a while, and I forgot the font is so small. Okay, we got Brett, we got Steve, and we got looks like RAIF. All righty, so we got a couple of people. Again, this was unscheduled. This is more of an experiment to see if I can even do this. See if my computer will keep up with this. If the people in the chat room can let me know if there's any dropouts in the audio or especially in the video. I need that kind of feedback for this experiment. And if it turns out that it works, then I will schedule doing exactly what I'm doing right here, which is using the Kiwi SDR website and picking a radio, and then also having my radio, my SDR, running under SDR Play Console. Right now, SDR Play Console, SDR Console. Right now, SDR Console seems to be the most efficient software. Takes the least amount of CPU power. So let me look at the chat room and see anybody responded. Okay, thanks, Steve. Steve says the video and audio is not breaking up. That's good. That's good information. So we're going to proceed on. I apologize for not scheduling this in advance. I was afraid it wouldn't work. So I didn't make an advance announcement or schedule, because if it didn't work, then you'd come and there would be no show. So that's why I didn't do that. All right, let's move on. There's some burst of data right here. Let's turn the audio back up. Yep, it's data. That's what I thought. I thought it was data. Usually when you see a wide burst like that on your screen, it's usually data. And then when you see something like this signal here, it could be either audio or it could be data that's continuous. Okay, let's slide down here a little far. I don't want to go up too high in frequency because I don't get much in the higher frequencies in the morning. Higher frequencies are best in my area to listen to in the afternoons or evening. Not seeing much. Again, there was a window early this morning, about 7 o'clock, where shortwave conditions were pretty good. Well, compared to what they have, but that's gone away. And that's why, you know, I want to do a hangout, but either I've got to do it early in the morning. Of course, it's going to vary for you what time it is, depending on where you're at. Or I can do it late at night, and I usually go to bed about 9 o'clock because I get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning just by habit. So I'm undecided about a good time. Now, what you will notice is these little tags here, they will vary from radio to radio. There's a bunch of general tags that you get when you set up the software, and then you can add your own. And the more tags you see up here, the most likely the more active that radio is and the owner of that radio is. I still don't see much. It doesn't look too good. There's a signal there. Whoa, there's a big burst of something. See what this is. Nope. No, just noise. This is an interesting signal. This has got to be data. Yeah. Okay, that's not very exciting. Let's see what. I don't know what this stands for. CIS-12 Russia or RUS. Let me look at the chat room. Maybe you guys will give me some help here. Okay. Ooh, look at that one over there. Let's slide this down a little bit here. Oh, this is now right here, as it shows at the top. This is the 40-meter amateur radio band. And typically, the 40-meter and maybe 20-meter amateur radio bands are pretty active this time of day. And you can see it is. The lower part of the band is data, so this is probably all data down here. The voice is up further. I don't have the bandwidth set too wide on this radio. Again, trying to keep the CPU usage down. Here is, you can see it's marked. Here's the data mode GT65 frequency. Here's the data mode PSK31 frequency, typically used. This is probably maybe, no, it's still pretty low. As you can see, it's audio, but that's probably data too. It's pretty low. we have to get up above, this is in general, have to get above 7.2 in the 40-meter band to get voice. So this is probably voice here, maybe even here. Let's just try that. Probably USB. Maybe it's lower sideband. There we go. Okay. Now, we'll mute that. And then it says I'm on 7191 and I'm on lower USB. So let's go to my radio and go to 719. Whoops. The faster way to do this, but I'm just used to doing it this way. And it was lower sideband. And yeah, you can see a little blue line. So let's auto. I don't know if we're going to pick it up or not. Let me turn on the speaker.
There.
Yeah.
And Stephanie and Stuart are going to go down to Duke and look the place over there going up to Virginia Tech. And I think that's the last few two they're going to go look at. Stuart will be happy.
Okay, he mentioned that this is the RV, meaning an RV vehicle, service net. And that's another thing that's kind of interesting to listen to. There are hundreds of amateur radio nets, and all of a sudden my printer started working. I guess my wife's using it on the HF bands that you can listen to, and they typically talk about a given subject. Like there's even a hurricane net that gets real active when there's a hurricane out there in the oceans. So you can see what I did here is I used this website, Kiwi SDR, and this radio, and I found this station. And then I went over and selected that frequency on my SDR play, and I can compare the two. And apparently my reception for this particular communications is better than the one that I'm on, which is on in Boca Raton, which is southeast Florida. I am west central. All right, let's move on, see what else we can find here. We check the chat room. Okay, I'm surprised, and maybe I just can't see it because the font is so small. I'm surprised that where I'm looking at the chat room, it doesn't say the number of viewers. Probably, yeah, I'm guessing that the font is so small I can't see it. Let me quickly jump over to the Hangout page and see what it says. It says we have 13 viewers. So that's nice before an unscheduled event. To kind of get you guys up to speed who just joined, I'm doing a test to see if I can do a Hangout on the air while monitoring a radio on the Kiwi SDR website. So that's using up a bunch of CPU power. And matter of fact, I'm using Chrome, and Chrome uses up a lot of CPU power. And I'm running over here SDR Play, which uses quite a bit of CPU. Let's see. Right now, it's saying it's only using 12%. What I did in order to keep the power used, or the CPU used by this program, is I reduced my bandwidth to only 2 megahertz. It will do 8 megahertz, but by reducing that, it uses less CPU power, giving leftover source CPU power for other things such as Hangouts uses it, and the Kiwi SDR uses it. Okay, let me see what we got here. We've got a lot of activity on this amateur radio band. A lot of activity. All right, let's go back to the other radio on the internet. And I want to get up above the amateur radio band. Again, what I was doing this morning before I started this is I have a listing of possible frequencies that fishermen use on HF when they're out in the Gulf or the oceans. And I was hoping to catch some conversations. I didn't. I didn't catch any, so that was a bust. Let me move up, way up the band here, get past the amateur radio band. Okay, I think this is the CUCAN. Yeah, it's a time signal from Canada. And there is something there, so let's click on it. That will tune it. I believe it also not only tunes it, but it sets the right mode. We'll turn off mute. Yeah, there it is. Oh, I got it on USB. Okay, it's there, pretty weak, and it's at 7850. So let's tune my radio to 7850. 850. And we'll go to, I believe it's an AM, and we'll unmute it. Now, I can barely hear it, and you can see it right here on the waterfall. That's another beauty of using an SDR, is you can actually see the signal. You might not be able to hear it, and yet you might be able to see it. So that's another beauty of it. Let's go on here. We're up to 30 minutes, and I think we haven't had any dropouts. That's my concern about running all this stuff at the same time. Let me go back to the chat, and if somebody could give me an update on the quality of the video and audio, I'd appreciate it. Okay, it looks like everything is still working, surprisingly. I could open the oh, what do you call it? Anyway, I could use the Windows CPU application. I can't think of it offhand, and see how it's doing, but it uses a lot of CPU too, so that could crash the whole thing. So I'm not going to do that. All right, let's go on. And we'll go back to Now, let me just show you how I got here on this Kiwi SDR. Go back. And that's the map. Okay, this is the Kiwi SDR. It's actually the website name or address is SDR-HU. Simple as that, SDR-HU. And here's a listing of all the radios that you can connect to. And right now it says there's 251 receivers online and 170 people listen. So these are radios using SDRs, or yes, SDRs, that people have put online using this software, this Kiwi SDR software. And here's a listing of them. It tells you a little bit of information about them here, or you can go over here and click on this and it'll show you a map of where the radios are. Eventually, maybe I've just crashed everything. I did click on that, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, there we go. A little scary here. I don't know if this is going to crash at any minute. And then you get this map, which you can zoom in, and then you can pick a station. And what I did is I went to Florida, and there's 3 in Florida. I've used this one before, and I've used the one in Miami before. So I tried the one in Boca Raton. You click on it, and then you click on this right here, the title, and then it takes you to the station. And now you have control of that station. Whoop. You mute it. And it remembers where you were last. Or I don't know, maybe it's just till the next, I guess it remembers for you. Maybe it puts a cookie on your computer and it remembers where you were the last time you used it. All right, let's see if we can find anything else before we call this a success, maybe. Trying to find something that might be interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at these tags up here to see if anything jumps out. Like I'd like to find another Coast Guard station. I don't see one. No. Let's just look back at, I wasn't looking at the signals, I was looking at the tags up here. Now here's a strong signal. And it could be a fax. Let's listen to it. Yeah, strong fax. Very strong fax. And with this newer version of this software, you can even come over here and select extensions and select fax in this case, and it will decode what it's hearing. Let me turn, see, do I have to turn mute off? No, I don't have to turn mute off. And so there it's starting to draw the picture, the weather picture. Not very good, but it's still drawing it. Now, I don't have it set up to decode a weather fax on my radio, but I can tune to it. Let's see what we're tuned. We are at 8503. Okay, that's I think that's out of New Orleans, which is close to 8503. Oops, 3. Yeah, there it is, strong signal. I'm pretty sure that's coming out of New Orleans, which is close to me. Let me look at the chat room. Okay, Brett. No, not Brett. Again, the font on this little laptop is very small. Rafi says that Oxford Shortwave, who has a great YouTube channel, has a Kiwi SDR. Now, I believe he's in the Netherlands. Let me go see if I can find him, just out of curiosity. We'll stop this. Yes. Okay. So let's go back to the website, the main website. And we'll look at the map. I think he's in the Netherlands. I could be wrong. It's up here someplace. Let me zoom in as much as I can, or dare. There's so many of them. Let me see if anybody in the chat knows where he's located. In the UK, okay. Let me see if I can find him. No. 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 A bunch of them in the UK. That could be it. Oxford, UK. Let's see. That could be it. I'm not positive, but that could be it. Is he going to get there or not? That's the question. I may be running out of bandwidth here, or CPU power. Oh, is that a picture of him? Top of his head. Okay, I'm not sure that's him or not. I don't remember his call sign. That kind of looks familiar. Let me see if I can click on it. Nope, that didn't help me. Anyway, let's get back. I think I'm going to call it quits on this experiment. And I think, all things being equal, I think I'm going to be able to do this, which is a Google Hangout running my SDR play using SDR console and tune on the internet to a Kiwi SDR station. And this time I picked a local station. Another time I can pick some other station. If you have a suggestion, like we can use Oxford. Now he, of course, will have totally different reception than we did because he's clear across the ocean from me. But you can do that too to give you some indication whether a station you want to listen to, say that's in Europe or Asia or whatever, is on the air. And what you do is you select a receiver that's close by that if it's on the air, it should be receiving it. If you hear it, then you can go back to your radio and see if you can possibly hear it. And you would know at least it's either on the air or not on the air. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. This was, looks like a pretty successful test. I'll review the video afterwards and see if it's worth leaving up or if it crashed. I want to thank everybody that showed up. I could say I didn't announce this in advance because it was just a test. It seemed to work, so then I will be doing, or try to do, these Hangouts, scanning shortwave on the air. So you can do the same thing. I'll tell you in advance. You can get your radio set up and see what you're doing on your radio at the same time I'm trying to listen on my radio. That's it. Thanks everybody that stopped by. Have a great day. Bye-bye. I'm going to check the chat room before I shut down. Okay, Brett said I did find the right one. I did find Oxford Shortwave's SDR. Alrighty, thanks everybody for their help, and especially those people who provided me feedback on my Hangouts, whether it was working or not. Have a great day. Bye-bye.